take on the 8?
Yeah. Control your inner your attitude, your preparation, your effort.
Just a different one.
Yeah, it's a different color.
You like that? Your daughter do that? Or?
No.
Ron, obviously, what jumps out on the injury report, Luke practiced full.
Mm-hmm.
Can you update us on his status, and is he out of the concussion?
Well, other than that's part of it. He's going through it, the protocol, and that's part of the steps in it.
How did his energy level look, and how did that boost the rest of that defense?
It looked good. He practiced very well, communicated very, very nicely. I thought the guys flew around, had some extra energy. Kurt Coleman was back there as well, and you could hear the communications back there. Veteran guy that's been in the system, for 3 years. He really, it's good to have those guys back on the field running around. And there was some energy today at practice.
No, Luke still has to clear. You're always the half glass full or glass half full kind of guy. Are you leaning that he may be available free Sunday?
That's my understanding. Again, he's in the protocol, going through the steps, and this was one of them.
Ron, knowing all of the public adversity that Roberto has gone through, what did you see in him when he came to work out? And did you have a chance to talk to him about everything he's been through?
He kicked the ball very well. He made all of his kicks. And, kicked the ball off, kickoff very well. And so, he fit the bill. Again, with the situation Graham had last week, we just feel that we have to have a security blanket. And he was the best one we brought in. I mean, all 4 guys came in, kicked the ball extremely well. But I believe he was the only one that hit them all. And he had a very strong leg, very similar to Graham's. And we had a conversation, and we talked about, what happened. And it was interesting, he talked about, some of the things that he did and some things he felt, he did feel the pressure of having been a second-round pick. And it was just interesting to hear him, to be very honest and upfront about it. And I thought that was a good sign. I really did.
He also joked that he apologized to you for a certain kick he made last
Absolutely. And I told him, I said, well, that's all part of it. You're just doing your job. And that's what I think he needs to do. I did take a dig at him, too. I did ask him, I said, you know what the Japanese word bushido means? He says, it's kind of the samurai code that once you know you're dead, you're dead. And I said, well, it's kind of the thing with a kicker. You know you're going to miss it, just don't miss it today. So,
I mean, you guys lost Bucker off the practice squad. Is this a chance, even if Gano's good to go on Sunday, the chance to develop a guy for the future?
Maybe. But again, I mean, the biggest thing more than anything else is just what happens. I mean, what if, past Saturday, Graham had said, hey, look, we'd have been in a world of hurt. And this is just something that you can't really plan for, but you can. So this is something that we're gonna go ahead and do, and just in case, and we'll go with it for a while and see how things go.
Did McCaffrey get hurt Sunday? I see he's on the report, but practice full.
His wrist, he jammed it, so we had to put him on. Who, his wrist? No, it happened in the game. He jammed it, and that was it. No big deal.
Can you put in perspective what he's had to learn as a rookie compared to other rookies?
He's had to learn a lot. Again, because we use him at so many different areas, and then he plays special teams as well. We have him at different positions at running back. We have him at different positions as wide receiver. We shift him, we motion him, we move him around. I mean, we've asked a lot of him, and again, there's a little bit of concern that maybe we are doing a little bit too much with him. And again, I think one of the things that we want to make sure we do is, as we are putting him in position, have success, but we're not overusing him or overloading him.
Looked like you got some pretty decent news with Trey. Yes,
we did. Very fortunate. It was good to hear, and he was out there and looked good. He did some good things. He took all the reps he was supposed to, and it was good to see him out there.
Got a big matchup this week with McCoy, right?
Yes, he loves the challenge. He's a battler, and I think McCoy's really one of the really good ones in this league too. So he likes the challenge.
On Monday, you talked about potentially overloading Curtis Samuel and how he may be stressed and what you're asking to do.
Very similar to what I mentioned about Christian. I mean, again, these are young guys that have a certain skill set that we really like, and we're just trying to find ways to use them. We may be, again, we may be asking a lot of them, and they are professionals. We do expect a lot from them, but we also have to be smart about it.
conversation's been like with the coaching staff in that regard on guys like Christian? And maybe
Well, I think they see it and they understand it. I mean, the conversation really is about, what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, and just making sure we're not asking too much.
Although this past Sunday was a loss, is that still a performance the defense can build some momentum off of? Only allowing 5 first downs and things along those lines for the
Very much so. I mean, there's a lot you can build off of as a football team too, and not just off of that. But the defense did play very well. They played well enough to give us a chance to win, obviously. And again, they're going to continue to work and get better and better as a unit. And I do like the things that our guys are doing. I think Coach Wilkes has brought a different type of energy to that group. Different from the way Sean approaches it. I think Steve's very aggressive, and I think his players feel that.
Before the 2-game slide, had 2 really good weeks.
Yes.
And then the last 2 weeks happened. I mean, as you step back and look at it, can you point to anything why that's happened?
Well, let's see. The ball ricochets off of somebody's hand, tips off another guy's hand, gets tipped at the line of scrimmage. We drop a pitch. Yeah. I just think that there's more to it. I think, people look at numbers and they start saying one thing or another. We've had 4 weeks in a row where we've had almost 300 yards consecutively games of total offense. Okay? And in New England we put points up, and we had, almost 400 yards of offense. Detroit we had about 350, put points up. We put points up against Philadelphia. We had a couple bad things happen. I'm not sure if you could directly point those at the quarterback. So I'm not quite sure if I follow that,
I would say, it's more like fluke things are happening.
Well, I'd like to believe that. Again, I mean, I'd like to think that, we all saw the game, we all saw those things happen. I mean, it's not like he tried to have them happen, I guess is my point. And I think that's why we don't need to start pushing panic buttons. I guess that's my point.
Also, wasn't he pressured just an inordinate amount of time, especially in this last game? Did you feel that after watching the film?
I think there were some things that did happen. Some were self-inflicted. Some of the things that we didn't do collectively. So again, there's a lot more to it, and when you break the tape down, things are a little bit more clear. And the guy played hard. The guy did a lot of good things. At the end of the day, if something negative happens on the offensive side, the first guy that gets the blame typically is the quarterback.
Ron, because he has experience in the offensive system already and could pose a vertical threat for you guys, is there a better chance of Kalen Clay being active this year?
There really is, and that's a good question just because of the fact that he came out today. And I think he just assimilated very quickly back into what we did. With Funch, taking some limited reps, he practiced pretty well. He did, and again, it was good to see. He came back in and just picked it up. I mean, it was good, and we also had him out there returning punts. So yes, there's a chance he could.
You just said he's just overjoyed to be back here. Did you see that in him today when he came back on the field?
Yes, it's interesting. I mean, he liked his time in Buffalo. He really did, but. When we made the trade and Marty and I talked to him, we told him, he said, look, we really like you, but they offered us somebody that we felt we couldn't turn down, and that was Kevon. And, we brought him in, and I told him, I said, you just never know. Crazy things happen this way. You could end up back here. And sure enough, the opportunity to bring him back, Marty came to me, and we talked about it last night, and he put the claim in, and we got him back. I mean, he really was a guy that we liked because he made the original 53. And but a chance to bring a guy that we liked as well came up, and we took it.
Nobody's kind of separating themselves in the division. What kind of opportunities in front of you guys on Sunday on the road?
Well, it's a cliche that you control your own destiny. That's the biggest thing more than anything else. I mean, it really is. I mean, and what's going to start happening is, we're going to start seeing a lot more division games. And if nobody separates himself, in the next 4 weeks, it could come down to weeks 15, 16, and 17 where we'll all play each other again. So it could be pretty exciting. And quite honestly, I kind of envision that happening to this division.
Does it make it any more frustrating? All that, like you said, there were just those little
very much
things
so.
That you could have easily been a game or two up.
Yeah, but that's the nature of the game. I mean, I talked to you guys after the game on Sunday, and I said it was a matter of 3 plays. They had a 70-yard completion that set up a field goal. We fumbled a pitch, and we had a ricochet interception. That's their 17 points. who knows, if one or two of those things don't happen, it could have been different, but that's the game. It's a matter of 3, 4, 5, 6 plays.
Ron, you were talking about Cam earlier. He said today that he did sense some lethargicness from the offense. Did you sense any of that as well? And how much of that can be helped by the occasional big play?
Well, I think there are some things that can spark and light something up, whether it's a big return or a big play, big defensive play that just kind of helps catapult it. And, and that's one thing that we have lacked. We haven't had the big plays, and we've missed some opportunities to create big plays. And unfortunately, we've given up a couple of big plays in the last couple of weeks that have hurt us. We've got to control that better.
If Kalen was active, could you foresee a situation where you would use him at punt returner instead of McCaffrey?
I think there are. I mean, again, there's a couple other guys too that that have the ability to return punts that we could use as well. We could use Curtis back there, but again, we're going to do and put guys back that we feel they're going to give us a chance.
Coach, just looking at your shirt, how was the attitude of the team?
I thought it was good. I thought we had a good practice today. It was spirited. It was physical. I think we got something good out of it. I think the guys are headed in the right direction. We're talking about preparation and getting ready for, a good football team, a young football team that has the ability to be explosive.
Not to get into all the concussion thing, but do you know when Luke will meet with?
No. That's one thing I'm staying out of, and I'm not sure when he'll meet to get cleared or get final clearance or whatever he's supposed to get.
Do you see any similarities of what Jameis is going through in his third year with the offense and all, and obviously he's put a lot of yards passing, that what Cam might have gone through?
Well, I just think, the tough part, being the number one pick is there's a lot of expectations, and I think he's dealing with expectations. And, quite honestly, I don't know if he should have played last week, although he played great. But again, I just, the feeling is here's a guy that just knows that he's the number one guy, and he's got to get back out there for his team. That's why he played. I mean, and I'm only saying that just because of, the injury. That's, you hurt your shoulder like that, but that's who he is. He is the number one pick, and there's a lot of pressure on that guy. Our guy's gone through it. There's a lot of pressure on that guy. And to see him, come back and battle back and play the way he did, he's a competitor.
People see all the yards he's putting up there and say how great that is, but Cam did that early too, but the games were still being lost. So what's that a sign of you as a coach, that these things aren't complete around the quarterback?
Correct. I think it's a team game. Again, that's a team game. And I think that's the thing everybody understand. Numbers are one thing, but at the end of the day, it's about whether you're winning or losing. I mean, again, first thing I told you guys when we lost to Chicago, we outgained them. We doubled the time of possession almost. We doubled the yardage. I mean, it goes on and on and on. But at the end of the day, the score 17-3. So.
Coach, you think the Bucs are one of those teams that are a lot better than their record?
Oh, yeah, I do. I mean, you look at the personnel. I mean, I like their offensive personnel. I like their running game. I think they got a very physical running game. They got a very opportunistic defense, and they've got some guys on all phases that you've got to pay attention to.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.